big expansion, record game attendance, and skyrocketing merchandise sales. This is not just a moment in women's sports, it's a movement.
We're really in an exciting place, and it's not going to turn back. Representation is the most important way that we can continue the momentum for women's sports.
And now there's a group working to provide a place in Boston where you'll always be able to watch them.
We're trying to find space for ourselves to go somewhere and sit and enjoy a game and a meal and not just have to take the TV in the back of the room.
Whitney Edwards and Lydia Coverdale-Perez, along with Janelle Dovitz, Angela Cinces, Jacqueline Rodriguez, Dana Marie Cinces, Laura Coverdale-Perez, and Celia Castro are the co-owners of the new Sports Bra Boston.
These are friendships that are over 20 years old. It's been cool to see that transition into being able to build a business together as well.
This group has so many different talents. We have lawyers, we have therapists, we have educators, and we really thought, as a group, we could really do this.
The original Sports Bra was founded in Portland, Oregon in 2022 by Jenny Nguyen. It's the world's first sports bar that shows only women's sports. After a successful start and an investment from Reddit co-founder Alexis Ohanian, Nguyen announced an expansion, 4 new franchise locations.
We put in a wonderful bid saying that Boston would be a great city to showcase women's sports. It's the landscape, we're the city of champs. Boston needs a place like this.
Bonded by their shared love of sport, the Great Eight knew they weren't the only ones who'd felt this way because they'd been hosting women's sports watch parties.
I think we had 5 events in our first year in 2024. We're right about at 20 for 2025.
Watch With Us Boston brought together a huge crowd at Medford's Great American Beer Hall for the National Women's Soccer League playoffs.
People are really motivated to support spaces in the community that we're trying to create.
We're doing something that we have an authentic connection to and a passion for that we truly enjoy.
Sarah Falkson is also working on a new sports bra, this one to wear.
What we're focused on is adjustability, making sure that there's a lot of adjustability in the straps and the bottom band to give you that customized fit. We are getting rid of the removable cups. And removable cups often get jostled around. So we're really thinking about, well, how can we provide as much coverage as possible, but make sure that it's functional and machine washable too.
The mission of her brand, Robin Athletic, is to design a sports bra that fits every body in every sport.
Robin is my middle name and my mom's middle name, but robins are also some of the only birds with a different colored breast. So just like the robin bird, we want our athletes to lead with color, boldness, and pride. We want to make the sports bra a piece of equipment that you feel beautiful in, but also strong.
A poorly fitting bra can have a negative effect on girls that last long into adulthood.
Nearly 50% of girls drop out of sport by the age of 14 due to low body confidence. That's double the rate of boys. We know that the power of sport goes way beyond the field. It's lessons you learn in mentorship, in leadership, dealing with challenges.
A field hockey athlete at Noble and Greeno School in Dedham and later Dartmouth College, Falkson struggled herself for years.
I have always had a bigger chest as an athlete, and I'm 5'3", so I'm pretty short. And it's been so much of a big challenge to actually find a bra that fits. It would just double up on sports bras, which I feel so insecure about in the locker room. And I started to question my own body, whether I was built to be an athlete.
After graduation, Falkson coached girls field hockey on the weekends.
It was when I was working with the middle schoolers and the high schoolers where I really started to hear that these challenges in body confidence were also existing with them.
In search of a solution, Falkson pursued her master's in engineering at Harvard University.
I was showing up to our Harvard engineering makerspace with a bag full of sports bras where a lot of the people there are primarily men focused on emerging AI solutions and robotics. It was a big experience in just being more comfortable in being uncomfortable. To all of the feedback that I've received in saying that can't be done, or it doesn't scale. Those are the things that motivate me even more. There's also no rule book when it comes to creating what's never been done. I have this mentality that if not you, who?
Love the mentality, love the idea. Sarah didn't even know how to sew when she started out on this business venture. Apparently they don't teach that at Harvard Engineering School. So she took lessons at Sew Easy, S-E-W, Easy, in Needham.
And she's hoping to launch Robin Athletic Sports Bras later this year with 2 styles, low and high impact. So we wish her the best of luck with that. And she's hoping to expand with more styles in the future.